Hello there, this is DBT and this is Art of Runes. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends Unite. And today, we're gonna be talking about the mini update that came to the game just yesterday, the things that have changed, what we have noticed, the good, the bad, all of that stuff, and also what is the status on the Switch. Also a bit of an explanation of the graphic options in case you guys are wondering what some of these do, because I know it's not obvious for everybody. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about all of that stuff. Before I jump into it, you know what to do. If you like my content, please hit the like button on this video, subscribe, it helps the channel, it keeps this channel going. So alright, first things first, Nintendo Switch. The update has not arrived yet. In fact, we don't know when it's coming, hopefully very soon. Yesterday, when this update was released for just about every platform, please tell me in the comments in which other platform wasn't released in case there's any other where it wasn't. This is what it was told to us or said to us in the official Discord server related to the Switch. Hey guys, next update for the Switch is currently slated to be released tomorrow. We'll keep you posted should anything happen. So this was yesterday. So we were expecting today the patch to be released for the Nintendo Switch. However, this hasn't happened by the time I'm recording this. I don't know, it might change by the time this video is released. But at least when I'm recording this, yeah, it hasn't happened. And this is the update that we got. Someone was asking Boost, hey, so what's going on? Are we still waiting or what? And this is the response that we got today as well. I'm waiting on news about the status of Nintendo. Last I know, the intentions haven't changed since yesterday, but it's taking a while for them to get back. The moment I have a response, whether it's coming later today or it has been delayed, I will let you know immediately. So, once again, we're in this position where we're like, well, Nintendo Switch is still behind, even if by now, by one day, not a big deal. This is a small update. So, at the moment, it's not a huge deal to not have it, but oof. It just hurts a little bit for the Nintendo Switch to be like, yeah, we'll look at that later, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna wait. Hopefully it's gonna come, the update is gonna come soon, so we can just hope for the best. Now, let's talk about the first thing that I noticed that changed, and that is what you see on the screen right now, and that is the animations of a couple of screens, like this one, for example. Now, when you're here in the career tab, you have always have this type of animations. But the first change is that they're a little bit different. They're not exactly the same angles as they were before. And trust me, I would know, because just about every video I start in these screens. So I'm very familiar as to what were the angles here. But over here it's a little different. I like it. I don't mind. I think it's an actually a positive change. So that's cool. The other animation that changed was here, where normally this would be a static image. You can see that there's now also camera animation, so that's kind of dope. Again, regardless or whether you're on the home screen or on the career screen, you get to see your car in an animation, like a montage, and it looks fine. It's all right. I don't mind. I think it's kind of cool. Though, I did notice that there's one particular area where there's also an animation, but this doesn't seem to be consistent. If I go, for example, over here in the special event for the Kachinger, as I call it, you will notice that as I'm looking at the card to start the race, I have this animation. Now, to be completely fair, I actually don't like too much to have an animation over here. But like I said, this isn't consistent. Because, for example, if I go into a daily event, this animation is not present. So I'm not exactly sure where this animation it's meant to be, or if it's a bug in that other place. Because over here, it's static. And I actually much prefer for this to be static in this screen, because I like looking at the cars in the same angle when I'm doing this type of things where, oh, let me look at this car and look at that other car. Because, well, you know, you can see the difference between cars that are sort of similar, which actually brings me to the other topic that I wanted to talk about, which is the new cars in the game. When we were looking at the stats of the new cars in the patch notes review, I did say that I wanted to have a look at the car all around to see what it looked like and what not, so there it is. This is the Pininfarina Edizione Nino Farina, and I was like, well, it certainly looks like the regular Pininfarina just with a fancy livery. And this is why I said that I like to have this camera fixed for this to not be moving, because it allows me to do something like this. Oh yeah, I can see the two cars run one next to the other, same angle, same everything, and I can see that indeed. The body of the car is basically the same between the versions, no big difference over there, so yeah. As I expected, oh, the wheels are different. See, this is why I say that this is useful though. The wheels are different. This one has more spokes than this one. This is a 5-spoke, this is what, like a 10? Yeah. So anyway, this is why I like having this camera angle fixed, because then I get to see things in this way. Let's have a look at the Rimet Nevera Time Attack. Having a look at the car, once again, looking at it all around and whatnot. Yeah, same idea, right? It's basically the same car, just with a different livery. Once again, we can do this nifty little comparison side to side, and you can see that indeed the body is the same. It's just some changes to the livery. I don't think there's any other particular change. So yeah, I just wanted to have a quick look at the cars all around. I can confirm that they're basically the same thing. So I haven't been super excited about these two new cars in the game, honestly. Similar to the 4GT Frankie Edition, it's the same car in terms of the car looks, just with a different livery. So, okay, make of that what you will. Just wanted to show you the comparison between the cars, but And while we're here in this screen, I want to show you the possibly one of the biggest W's in this update, which was an L because this was taken from us from Asphalt 9, and that is this button up here. Oh yeah, the daily task. Actually, there's my mouse. This button over here at the top, the daily tasks. Yes. Now, in whatever screen you're in the game, so long as it's still in the menu, so it's not in the middle of a race, you can see now your goals. Now, why does this matter? Because precisely, let's say that I'm well, right now I'm in the garage, but let's say that, okay, so I need to continue doing my season missions. I need to do something about a car hunt race, but let's imagine, let's go into a more extreme example. Let's say that it says something about a special event. I need to do something on a special event. Okay, so special events, let's go over here, let's go over there. Yes. Okay. Oh, but what did I have to do? If I wanted to check, I would need to go back all the way into the home screen and then check it. While over here, finally, I can just do this. Oh man, this is great. I'm sorry, it's so simple, but it's so good. Now, I just hope that they also add the garage button over here, because it was really useful as well to quickly check your garage, regardless of where you were in the menus. Check your garage, check your wild cards, check your epic import parts, all of that stuff. Having that quick access to that information was great. So I hope that they also bring that one back. But for the meantime, this one is definitely a big W, and I'm happy about it. But I gotta say that there's something really annoying about it. So right now, I have on purpose not done a whole lot of goals because I want to show you that I want to show you something that it's honestly kind of annoying. So basically, I'm in the process of doing my daily tasks, right? Because, well, I want to get my tokens and whatnot. Well, one thing to notice is that now the notification is a little bit different. It's simpler. It's smooth. I like it. That's cool. All right. So I'm doing my objectives. That's kind of cool. I can check my objectives up here. As I said, this is a good thing. Oh, I only have one thing left to do in order to complete it. That's nice. Though I would like to complete all of them and claim all of my tokens at once. All right. So you know what? Let's do the other daily event race so that I can get that done. All right. Sure. By the way, yes, this is a scenario that I'm painting to you. All right. So I'm gonna go to my daily events. For the sake of this video, I'm doing it quickly. I'm just gonna go into this race, even though there's nothing for me to win here. But it's a very quick race, so might as well do it. So yes, this is to complete that particular goal. But I still need to do my multiplayer races. I still need to do some special event races in order to get every single one of them done. And then I can claim my tokens, right? That's kind of the idea. That's how I do it. And let the record show that I understand this is gonna be a minor thing. I just find it really obnoxious because I am the type of person who likes doing things all at once. So you'll see what I'm talking about. For now, let's do this super intense race all by myself. Yeah, whenever I don't have a lot of time, I just go into this race. And because it's always like a 30-second race, you can be done with this super quick and do your 3 daily event races in case for that particular day you weren't really playing the game. So there you go, I've done it. Oh, look at that, I did my 3 daily events. Fantastic. All right, so how about, oh, and I finished my combo. That's fine. There's still some more goals that I would like to do to claim every single token that I can. All right, great. So now normally you do get this pop-up, right? Where it's like, oh, you can claim stuff and whatnot. Yeah, but I still want to do some of the stuff, claim card packs from the shop and what. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let's go over here. Oh, okay, but no, I don't want to do it yet. I want to go into a special event. I said that I don't want to do it. I want to do my special events in order to, that's the problem. Once you get to the main menu, it doesn't let you do anything else. It's like, you gotta claim this. And I'm like, game, chill. I want to do my other stuff. I want to claim my packs. I want to do some multiplayer races, do my seasonal, to claim everything at once. Give me a break. And the game is like, no, you shall claim this. Okay, fine. Only when you claim it, then you can continue doing stuff. Again, it's a minor issue. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of infuriating to me personally, because like I said, I would rather do all of this stuff first and then claim all at once. Like I said, it's not a big deal. Just thought that it was kind of funny that the game is like, you gotta claim this, and I'm like, no, game, give me a second, you gotta claim this. So yeah, all right, let's get to the next topic, which is an interesting one, and it's a little bit of an explanation of some of the more obscure graphic options. Now, I should probably mention that the graphic options that you're gonna have are gonna be different than mine. It varies on the device, depending on the device that you are using. For example, I'm playing on PC, specifically I'm playing the Steam version right now. And over here we have a lot of options. We have always had options, now we have even more. But for example, if you're playing on Android, on iOS, and also depending on which device you have in terms of, oh, is it an older device that doesn't have as many capabilities for graphics, you're gonna see maybe probably less options still. So I think most of these are pretty understandable what they are. You know, the general settings like the presets, frame rate, if you want to play your game at 30, 60 FPS, or if you have high refresh, you can do 120. The resolution of the game, resolution scale is like an additional resolution that the game can do on top of this. This is what, you know, how many pixels on the screen you're gonna see. But internally, how many pixels is the game going to render? So even if my monitor just has this resolution, I can set this higher so the game looks even sharper, looks more interesting, or lower if I want to get better performance overall. Full screen, vertical syncs, no big deal, right? Model quality is just how defined, how high definition is the model. Low definition is gonna mean that it looks very blocky, not very blocky, but you know, it's gonna look more blocky than if you have it at high. But here's where things get interesting in terms of the additional options that maybe not everybody understands what these are about. So let's talk about first anti-aliasing and what this is about. And for that, I have this little example that I found online. This, by the way, I'm going to show it to you with some examples that are not necessarily in the game, because, you know, trying to take two screenshots of the same thing with different settings in the game, it's very, very difficult, and I thought it would be simpler for me to show you this. So when the game is rendering whatever in the game, well, the game renders in the game, duh. When it's rendering something, if you have a diagonal, this is what's going to happen, right? This is an aliased. And you can see it's very jagged, you know, very defined in the way that it's like a little stair type of thing. Anti-aliasing means that they're gonna smooth it out by using additional pixels with with a blend of colors to make it look. Obviously, if we're looking at this this close, well, you can see the what it is about, right? But it's like, wow, is that supposed to look good? Yes, it is, because the farther away that you see this from, it's gonna look better. I cannot make this smaller, I don't believe. Can I? No, I can't. But yeah, so these lines are gonna look super weird. For example, you will notice this a lot in like the edge of a car, you know, like a line on the car, maybe like a cable, things like that are very, very thin lines. If it's alias, meaning you don't have anti-alias, it's gonna look like this, right? Very jagged. With the aliasing, it's gonna look a little better. In fact, I don't know if you can tell, but this text is also aliased, and this is anti-alias. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit closer, and you can see that this looks very jagged, right? Now, because this is still an image, it still has a little bit of aliasing, but that's something else, don't worry about it. But you can see how it's very, very jagged. You can see around this uppercase A, looks very blocky. I guess that's a better way of saying it. It looks very blocky. While anti-aliased, it looks much smoother. So that's what anti-aliasing is. Now, keep in mind that anti-aliasing also, and just like any settings here, the higher the setting, the more impact it's going to have in performance. Now, it might be small impact. Maybe this setting is not necessarily too heavy. But just keep in mind that always, this is going to be easier for the game to render than this. So that's something to consider. So that's the first one. Then for the next one, we have motion blur. Now, this one is kind of self-explanatory, but I still found a really good image to show you what that's about. And here it is. This is obviously from a different game, but I don't even know what game that is. But you get an idea. So this is with the motion blur on the left side, motion blur off on the right side. Now, let's look at the motion blur off first on this side, right? Now, what will you notice is that you can see the snow, all of the texture of the snow, all of this stuff. It looks very nice. For a picture like this, oh, it looks pretty dope. You can see a lot of detail. But over here, you will notice with the motion blur on that it all looks smudged. Now, this does help improve a little bit, in some degree, the sense of speed in the game, because you see things blurring around you as you're moving fast and like, oh my god, I'm going at the speed of sound or whatever, right? So it does make a difference in terms of how the game looks. Now, whether or not you want to have it on, that depends on if you like it, and also, once again, performance, because having motion blur on is gonna be a little bit more demanding than having motion blur off. But you can have now an idea of what that does. Once again, and I'm making a lot of emphasis on this is motion, meaning when things are moving. When things are moving, the things that are passing you by are gonna be blurring. That's the idea. You will see why I'm making this bit of a pause here to talk about the motion. Now we have bloom. Oh boy, I dislike bloom so much. And for this, I do have some screenshots from the game. Bloom on versus off. You can clearly see what they are about, right? Now, there's something to be said about bloom making things a little bit more interesting looking, right? Oh, it's like basically like a camera or a lens effect of the light reflecting on it. So it makes things that are very bright look, well, bloomy. That's the whole idea. While you're having it off, you can see that it doesn't look particularly interesting, at least in this example. And I chose this example, it's a very, very obvious one. Now, bloom is not always this obnoxious. Bloom on is not always this obnoxious. Bloom off doesn't always look this boring. But once again, I just thought to show you the most extreme example. Now, fortunately, at least here on PC, we have the option of having bloom off, low, or high. I want to experiment with low, because high, it's way too crazy. I don't like the crazy amount of bloom. Because what it does also, it's not so easy to see in this particular screenshot, but you can see also this type of effects over here, right? Look at this glare on the screen. What that does, in my eyes, is make it look like the screen is dirty. When you compare how this looks versus how this looks, I mean, this looks like a dirty screen. This looks to me like a cleaner screen. So once again, I understand, and let the record show, I'm not saying one is better than the other. Personally, I prefer with very low to no bloom than this insane level of bloom. Because like I said, it makes this, to me, it makes the game look sharper, while this just makes it look like my screen is dirty, like my glasses are dirty. I don't like it very much. Of course, you will have to see. Now, from what I understand, bloom is not very expensive in terms of performance of the game. So I think turning them on is not gonna be like, oh my god, it's gonna make my game run that much worse, but there it is. So I think a middle point, so probably low bloom could be the best in my opinion, but if you really like your screen looking all sorts of this like that, I mean, you can do it. Just wanted to show you exactly what bloom is. Then we have over here the God rays. Now this is very, very easy to show you what those are. These are God rays. This effect you will notice in maps that have very bright sun and a bunch of things that are covering the sun from time to time in the race. For example, if you go into the Caribbean, you know that section that has like 4 different paths and it's a lot of turns and whatnot. There's precisely a lot of foliage around, or trees or whatever, and you can see the sun shining through them. And it can look really, 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 really cool. I like them quite a bit. But once again, you can turn them off, turn them on. They can be a little bit obnoxious sometimes because they do, you know, add some additional noise on the screen, but I think they look cool enough. Sometimes I have them on, sometimes I have them off, depending on how I'm feeling. For now, I like them enough that I have them on, but there you go. So obviously, lower quality God rays would mean that they won't look as nice, as pretty. Maybe they won't have the same distance of projection of the light, but yeah, there you go. Now, this is the other one why I was mentioning the motion blur versus depth of field, because depth of field is also about blurring, but it doesn't have to do with motion. Here is an example from, this is Forza Horizon. This is what depth, now granted, this is a massively extreme example of it, but what depth of field is like a camera effect that blurs objects at a distance. Now, this is a picture specifically of this little piñata donkey, right? So it's in the foreground of the picture. It's focused on that, so it's considerably what's the word, neat looking, you know, very defined, while the objects on the background are very blurry because they are just to be the background. This is what depth of field is. Now, like I said, this is a very, very exaggerated example, but this is what it does. It makes it so that the objects that are meant to be in the foreground of the picture, or in the case of the game, the video, the gameplay, those are gonna be more clear than those in the background. In fact, coming back to this screenshot, you can see it right here. I have depth of field on, regardless of which one you're looking at. You can see that the car looks relatively, well, you know, clear, and the background is blurred. This is what depth of field is. This is because it's on. If it was off, you would see all of the background also relatively clear, not blurred. So that is what depth of field is. Again, whether you like it or not, that just depends on your own preference. Anything that has to do with blurring is obviously also going to have an effect on performance. How big or small, I don't know. But yeah, that's what that is. And then the rest of the settings are pretty easy to understand. Reflections just means that, by the way, this is not reflections on the windshields or things like that. Or maybe it does? Ooh, now that I think about it, maybe they do. Yeah, so basically just to what degree things reflect on surfaces. So for example, I don't know if you've noticed, I play with them off most of the time. Related to me recording this version of the game, if I have settings too high, it ends up crashing the game. I had to find where it was the sweet spot of good graphics and being able to record or stream this game here on the PC version. But yeah, basically it's the reflection of objects, but not only on the cars themselves, but also on the surfaces. I don't know, I can show you. This is from the launch trailer of the game. You can see over here some of the ooh, look at that bloom, Jesus Christ. Here, you can see the reflection of the light on the floor of the taillights and whatnot. This is also part of the reflections. So that is something else that you want to consider. But by the way, you can see bloom over here. And like I said, over here, the bloom was ridiculous. Look at this bloom. This is why I don't like bloom. Tell me that this doesn't look like your screen is dirty. I really don't like it to be that extreme. So that's why I'm interested at looking at low bloom rather than this crazy level. And I think I saw some, yeah, these are the God rays, by the way. Maybe I should have just used this video to show you. But anyway, these are the God rays. So you can see how the sun is somewhere over here. And because of the buildings, that creates that projection of the sun. It's a very cool looking effect. I like it, so yeah, there you go. I'm sorry, I need to show you this as well. Come on, look at this. This is ridiculous. The amount of bloom everywhere, it's crazy. This is why I don't like bloom. Anyway, so coming back to this, when it comes to shadow resolution and shadow quality, I don't know exactly what exactly changed when you do this. Generally speaking, resolution would just mean the level of detail, but then the quality, I don't know if it's the projection, the quality of the projection of the vehicle. I really don't know. I am not knowledgeable. And by the way, if anybody that is a graphics expert and is listening to this, yeah, I know I'm giving a terrible explanation. I'm not a graphics expert. I'm just giving you the information that I've acquired over time by playing video games on the computer, where we always have to deal with this type of settings. So there you go. Then we got the shadow, dynamic shadow distance and dynamic lighting distance. So this is just at what distance will these shadows project. Like the car has a light shining and it's gonna project the shadow, right? Is it gonna project it all the way up to a couple of meters, up to 20 meters, whatever? So once again, you shouldn't really need to worry too much. Though these two, I would imagine, will have a very considerable performance impact in the game. Dynamic lighting quality, something similar to that, you know, just how, I don't know if it has to do with the light sources. I really don't know the specifics on this, but anything that has to do with dynamic lighting and dynamic shadows can be pretty performance, you know, what would I call it? Performance affecting. So yeah, keep that in mind. So like I said, all of these settings are gonna be different. Some of this, you're gonna have some of this, you're not gonna have some other. I hope this helped you a little bit to understand what they are, what you can turn off and on, what you're willing to sacrifice in terms of looks, you know. The one thing to say is that this whole thing is just to make the game look a little worse. I know that sounds weird, and that sounds like a bad thing. But what this is giving you the granularity to turn off some things so that the game doesn't look as crazy as it may. It's like, oh, I like when it looks this way, but I would like it without it. And that's actually why I'm so hyped to have this update on the Switch, because on the Switch, all I want to do is turn off the bloom. On the Switch, we always have the bloom, and it looks terrible because it's a very resolution bloom. It looks blocky, it looks weird. So hopefully, we're gonna have the opportunity to remove it. So, there you go. Those are the settings. But there's one thing that I wanted to talk about that it concerns me a little bit. Now, this that I'm gonna show you, it's a video that I recorded some time ago because I've been working on some Ferrari video and whatnot. I recorded this and I want you to pay attention to the engine sounds because there's a difference now and it's not a good one. You know what? I actually should pause the music so you can hear the engines exclusively. Let me increase the volume as well a little bit because I want you to check this out. And this is with my settings that I have so to emphasize the engine, right? Where I lower the volume of most things to like 40% and keep the engine at 100%, and you get this. You can hear in general the sound effects, but you can very clearly hear the engine. Now compare this to this. Can you hear the difference? This sounds different. Not as good. More quiet. And weird. I thought I was crazy, so I checked a different car, a different Ferrari, because again, I've been working on a Ferrari video. So I have this very, very, very clear, and I have these videos that I've recorded, and here is the LaFerrari. Once again, this is from before the update dropped. And this is with the new update. I thought that I was crazy. I'm like, is it the same? Does it sound different? What's going on? And for a moment I thought maybe I'm just listening to the other engines in the game as well, the other cars that are around me, but I'm like, no, something's up. Can you hear it? Don't worry, if you can hear it, I actually in this race decided that I needed to check what was going on. So I did this. I was like, I swear I can hear something else. What is going on there? Can you hear that there's another engine sound going on? And look that I'm completely alone here, by the way. There it is. What is that sound? I thought I was crazy. I really thought that I was crazy. So just to double check, triple check and everything, I restarted the not only I restarted the game, I restarted the computer, I restarted everything. This that you're seeing right now is actually me playing. But yeah, I wanted to make sure. It's like, man, is this a bug? It might be a bug, indeed. Let's see. Is it still there though? You hear it? Oh, it stopped now. See how my engine, my actual engine is going very low? Because I'm, going very slow. And yet we have that other sound there. What is that about? I don't know. So I've been checking with other cars, and in general it seems that for some reason these issues with a couple of cars, I don't know exactly which cars are the ones affected. I haven't checked all 200 cars that I own to see which ones are affected and whatnot. I'm gonna continue discovering, I'll continue to discover this as I continue playing this. But yeah, something changed. I don't know exactly what it is. There's something up with at least the sound of those Ferraris. Have you noticed some other engine issues, changes? And if you have, please let me know in the comments, because I would love to have some input in that and then check it myself and maybe make another video where I do a bit of a comparison if I have clips of those cars and whatnot. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. And I don't know, in the Nintendo Switch version of the game, we have had this sound issue where for some reason the engines are even more quiet than usual. And some people, I have heard that they're reporting that they have even lower than usual sounds now also here on the new patch for all versions. Again, remember, the Switch hasn't gotten patched just yet. So we have had this sound issue since quite a bit ago, but apparently now that's catching up over here. I really don't know what's going on. Hopefully it's not gonna be too much of a big deal, but oof. That's all I can say. Please, Game Love, don't make the engine sounds even more quieter. They're already too quiet. We need them to be louder, not quieter. But alright, just wanted to talk about this whole thing. I know this is a bit of a messy video, but like I said, it was my intention to show you some of the things that I have noticed, some changes here and there, some good stuff, some questionable stuff like this. But overall, it seems to be going on a good path, the game, with the update, so let's hope that they continue improving it. And for the love of God, please make engines more audible. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.